Welcome back to Porch Talk, where it is my passion and your entertainment. Today, what we have for you guys is Ethan from Hunting Appalachia. How you doing today, bud?
Buddy, happy to be here, doing great.
Absolutely. So we got hunting season coming up, fall hunting season rolling
hmm
around the corner. We're gonna talk about some common things like some hunter safety tips. Because Ethan, where you work at right now? You said you work for 4-H, correct?
So I'm a 4-H agent right now. I'm teaching kids about getting out in nature, hunting, fishing, wildlife conservation, and then I do TikTok on the side and teaching everybody about hunting and why you should do it.
Oh, absolutely. That's where I found you, man. I was from TikTok and watching everybody else and that pay lake. But we talked about
Yep,
that on a
yep.
couple other videos. So, what are some quick hunter safety tips that you could give to anybody that's new or anybody that's not, a veteran that needs to know?
Yeah. So I think the biggest thing, and I'm going to say this in kid terms, just
Mhm.
because the internet world that we live in now, you got to be careful what you say. Pew pews, what
Yeah.
you go out hunting with, you treat every single one as it's a loaded pew pew.
Mhm.
Like, it doesn't matter if it is or it's not. That is a habit you need to get. Uh, it's yeah, imp- it's the most important thing ever because that is how people end up getting unalived, uh, and no one wants to go out for something that's that enjoyable and not come home from it. But that's the most important thing. And then from there, it's just situational tips. So, like my buddy Trey Myers, one of my best friends, my hunting partner for the last 3 years, he went out today and hung our deer stand. Our season here in Kentucky comes in on September 6th. The stand that we're hunting out of this year is 40 foot up in a sycamore tree.
Wow.
And that is a fall that you would not survive from.
No.
So something growing up I never did was wear a harness. But I know people now who have fallen out of trees and are paralyzed or have lost feeling in their arm, can't bow hunt anymore. I've got a buddy that happened to him. And so anytime I'm going to be up in that tree, I'm going to be strapped into a harness just because my equipment could fail and I don't want to take that risk. So just stuff like that. Um, when you're out in the woods, let people know your location. That's something again I used to struggle with really hard because I have these honey holes, these secret spots. But you have somebody you trust, let them know where you're at, what time you're going, when you can expect to be back. Just because you never know what could happen. Like
That's very good.
anything could happen.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's very good, man. Because, there's some places I know where I go. I'm a pretty big boy. If I fall down, I got to let somebody know to come get me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No, my wife's not going to be able to come pull me out of the woods.
Exactly.
But so what are some things you could do to prep? Like, cause well, let's back up a little bit. What are some species that we're looking for in this fall season coming up?
Yeah. So especially in the Appalachians, deer is the big thing. Deer seasons are coming in late August, early September, mid-September, all
Mhm.
across Kentucky, Virginia, West Virginia, the Carolinas, Ohio. Um, that's what I'm getting prepped for big time right now is deer season. But
Mhm.
we also have our waterfowl seasons coming in. We have September goose season that'll come in. I think September 16th here for us in Kentucky. You also have early season wood duck and teal coming in. Black bear season. I am an avid bear hunter.
Oh yeah.
It's some of the best meat you can put in your freezer. Black bear season is going to be coming in soon. Um, you also have your small game, squirrel, raccoon, rabbit. All those are going to come in. Squirrel is already in here in the state of Kentucky. Rabbit will come in around November. Same with raccoon. I think raccoon comes in October. And then if you're lucky enough, you've got your elk tags and then your other draw tags like sandhill crane tags for the western part of the state here.
Awesome. So you got a lot of things coming in. What is some prep work that you can do? Obviously, you've already said you already got your stands out.
Yep.
You already got your land scouted. So what's some prep work that you could be putting in the couple weeks leading up into this?
Well, if you're using a bow, shoot your bow every day for at least 15 minutes because the worst thing in the world is to make a bad hit on an animal with a bow. There's nothing that will take the wind out of your sails faster. So if you're bow hunting, get out, shoot your bow 15 minutes a day. Make sure it's where you want it. Double check all your equipment. That harness I was talking about earlier for that stand, make sure that it's sized right to you. Make sure you're getting it hooked up right. Make sure everything's going to work just in case it has to work. Uh, Put up trail cameras. I've had trail cameras out now for about a month. I know every deer in my field and their patterns, so I should go in, and if things go correctly, I should know exactly what that deer is going to do that night that I'm hunting them. So, and also just when you're going into a spot, know the spot well. Before I hunt, I will go and walk a spot to learn the bearings of the land.
Hmm.
Just because if I end up, getting a deer and having to track it, I don't want to be walking through the woods at night, get lost, and then not have cell service to try to figure that out.
Oh yeah.
So if I go out there earlier in the season and walk around and get my bearings, that's going to make that a lot easier if that happens.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I remember watching one deer, and I didn't shoot at him strictly because I knew he was going to run straight, and I knew there was a cliff there. And if he ran up
Mm-hmm.
off the cliff, I'm not going to be able to get him. So,
Mm-hmm.
that's very good. Know your area, know your surroundings, get a look in there. So, let's say for deer hunting, for example, because that's the biggest thing in this area for
Yeah.
a lot of our viewers. I'd imagine it's the same thing in Kentucky, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Kentucky. So what are some things that you should be looking for? For example, we already is getting familiar with the area. What about
Mm-hmm.
deer activity? What type of deer activity should we look for?
So early season, you're going to have all your deer on a feeding pattern. You're not going to have that rutting activity come in until late October most of the time. So if you're trying to get a nice velvet buck here in the Appalachians, you're going to be looking for feed zones and bedding zones because these deer are going to be moving in patterns throughout the next few weeks. So they're going to be waking up, leaving their bed early morning, coming out to feed, going back to their bedding site midday, hunkering down, and then in the evenings, waking back up, coming down, eating, and doing that throughout the night until they go back to their bedding sites. So if you can find a bedding site and where those deer are eating and position yourself in between those spots, then you have a great chance at getting a deer. Now, later in the year, when we're talking about ruts, what you're going to be wanting to look for is scrapes, you're going to be wanting to look for rubs, and you're going to be wanting to look for does because a buck's not going to be where there's not does. So if you have a healthy population of does in a field and you don't see the bucks, just wait a little bit. They will come. And then if you're in a field, you might not see the bucks yet, but just walk the edges of that field. Look for scrapes, look for rubs. That's those deer getting ready to utilize that field for the rut that's coming up.
Oh, absolutely. That's definitely good. So, if you had to give one major hunting tip, what would be if anybody that just walked like Hunter, for example, or Gather,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
if he walked up to you and said, "What is one tip you could give me for hunting?" What would it be?
Patience. The biggest
Patience.
mistake that hunters make is leaving a spot too early. It's like that with turkey hunting. It's like that with deer hunting. You'll get to a spot the first few nights, you will sit in this stand and you're like, there's supposed to be deer here. Why are there no deer here? And then you'll get antsy. You'll take your setup down or you'll go put another setup somewhere else. And as soon as you do that, you're getting trail camera pictures of a buck that you would have got that night if you had stayed in that stand. It is it takes one moment in time for a hunt to go right. And if you know that there are deer moving through somewhere, and if you have them moving through this area, they're going to be there at some point. So keep your butt in that stand and set yourself up for success. The average hunter in the United States is able to get out for 3 weekends a season. That's with work and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm lucky enough to get out a little bit more than that, but a lot of people can't. So if you've got 6, 7 days to hunt a season, then you want to set yourself up for success as best as possible. So while seeing deer and knowing there's deer in an area is important, not running around and spreading yourself too thin is imperative too, because that's just going to drastically decrease your chances.
I gotta be honest with you. I feel like you've been watching me on my trail cam. That first paragraph right there described me to a T. I'm like, all right, been here about 3 hours. It's time to move on.
Yep, that's something I had to overcome early on, especially turkey hunting, because you'll come into a spot early turkey hunting in the spring, and you'll have a tom firing off 200 yards from you and responding on the roost every time that you yelp at him, and he'll come off the roost and just be quiet, and you'll sit there for like 45 minutes an hour, and you're like, this bird's not interested in me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go switch spots, and as soon as you stand up, that bird will be 100 yards across the field coming to you and turn around and run away. Like if you had stayed still for 10 more minutes, that bird would have been in. But
Yeah.
it's patience is key.
I actually had that happen in deer season. I finally just stood up. And when I stood up, maybe 30 yards standing right there behind a tree, I couldn't see it where I was sitting. He seen me, he took off going. So, yeah, I mean, patience is the biggest key. Biggest key in anything in life, really, is just patience.
Yep.
So, what is Okay, you bow hunt, right?
Yep.
Okay, so what's your go-to setup bow hunting wise?
So I am about as hillbilly as it gets. Now, my buddy Trey runs a. He's gonna get mad at me if I get this wrong. I think it's a Matthews. Oh my gosh, what is that? Lift. It's a Matthews lift bow.
Mm-hmm.
Now his bow costs $3,000. I'm throwing
Woo.
him like under the bus here. Now, I got a discount on it. He worked at the bow shop, but his bow costs $3,000.
Uh-huh.
I use the Cabela Special. It's a Bear brand bow. I can't tell you any of the specs on it, but I've used it for the past few years and it works. And here's a little knock on Matthews. My bow shoots a little faster than his does at the same poundage. But
There you go.
uh, oh yeah, no. If he listens to this, that's gonna really burn him up. But I love you, buddy. But I just run simple equipment. I use what works. I don't get fancy with it. Something that I have implemented is lighted nocks on my arrows. So,
Mhm.
it's easy to find my arrows. If I make a shot at a deer, then I can easily find that arrow to see how the blood looks on it. But no, it just whatever works for you. You don't have to break the bank to have effective equipment. But if you do want to break the bank to have effective equipment, just do your research, make sure it's something that works for you. Everybody has a different system. I would rather spend more money on turkey hunting stuff and turkey hunting pew-pews than a bow, just because I do that a lot more. But no, just do what works for you. And I like Bear. Trey likes Matthews. Hoyt is a great bow company. I've got a lot of buddies that shoot a Hoyt. Uh, but just whatever works for you.
What I was about to ask you. I'm like, when it comes to hunting, fishing, anything, sometimes spending that big money doesn't necessarily come out with big results.
Exactly. Some of the best hunters I know go out in cheap Walmart camo and they know what they're doing. They spend time doing it. And then you got guys that'll run uh First Light. They're a great hunting company. They make great products. But I think for a full like head to toe camo kit from First Light's over $1,000.
Woo.
And it's great stuff, high quality stuff. Would love to get some someday. If they're ever listening to this, will sponsor me.
There
But
you go.
but you don't need that to be successful. It can increase your odds, but if you're out there and you know what you're doing, you're putting in the work, then you can be just as successful as the guys that are spending big bucks on it.
Absolutely. That's one thing I love to tell people. It's just like when I coach baseball. I was like, "You got these kids show up with $600 bat." I'm like, "Well, that $600 bat's not going to fix the $2 swing."
Exactly. Exactly.
I said, "You got to get out there. You got to put that work in, and if it
Hmm.
works, it works." Like you said, you use Bear.
Yep.
I would have never thought of that.
Yep.
But so we're not going to say when I said pew pew, but what caliber is your go-to bear and go-to deer hunting?
Uh, Deer 30-30.
Yeah.
I think that 30-30 repeater is the greatest deer pew pew ever made. And I'm not taking like these long Hail Mary shots at them. So I use iron sights on mine just because I want to make sure that I have them in close and that I'm going to, make a shot that's going to be good. Uh, Bear, I like a 270 Win Mag. A lot of people will say that's overdoing it, but I'll, I'm a firm believer that if you pack a punch to them and they, uh, trying to think of a kid friendly way to put this. If
Right,
they
right.
blink out a little faster, it helps the meat. There's not as much adrenaline rush, and it especially for bear, it really helps the meat. So I like a 270 Win Mag. That's what I've been carrying for a long time. I have a lot of buddies that also deer hunt with the 270. If you're going to be taking longer shots, like 200-yard plus, I would say the 270 is probably the best. My little brother this year got, or this last season, got a nice 8-point buck with a 243.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a great like midweight will do what you need it to do caliber. But for me personally, I like 30-30 and a 270.
Yeah, I like both of those actually. The 30-30, I was hoping you'd say that. That's just old school hunting right there.
Anything but a 6'5" Creedmoor.
Oh man, I know so many people that swear by 6.5s. I'm like, come on, man.
They get a lot of crap out. They're not as bad as what people say, but not for me.
All right, man. So we knocked through a couple questions here with basic hunter safety, basic hunting questions. So I appreciate that. But let's give you a chance to go ahead tell everybody what your channel is, who you work with, what plan do you have? If you like any sort of sneak peeks, if you will, anything like that.
Yeah. So my TikTok is hunting Appalachia. We're gearing up for all our hunting season videos right now and fall fishing videos. I go back and forth through Michigan quite a bit. Do a lot of waterfowl hunting and fishing up there. I film videos with Fishing with Tate and the crew. Some sneak peeks. We'll be in Michigan this year doing a salmon fishing trip and a goose hunting trip. And then in November, we'll be doing a return trip to Minnesota. But this year, we're doing it with Tate's puppy, Boone, that he got back in February. Boone's been at the trainer for the last few months. He's dialed in. So we're going to take him and put him on some wild pheasants in Minnesota. But if you guys want to check this stuff out, you can follow me on TikTok at Hunting Appalachia. And also go to Tate's channel, Fishing with Tate on YouTube and TikTok. And you'll see a lot of that stuff there and some videos with me in it.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate everything you do for the kids out there in Kentucky. One day I'm gonna have to bring my kids out there to
Oh,
one of
yeah.
your little events.
Oh, yeah. Uriah would love it.
Oh yeah, he watches everything y'all do. Well, I'm gonna stop the recording, but like I said, that is Porch Talk, where it is my passion and your entertainment. Thank you guys.